Hey, and welcome to my channel. My name is Chrissy Hodges, advocate for OCD, in particular pure OCD, which happens to be the name of my memoir, The Invisible Side of Obsessive Compulsive Disorder. Go check it out. I'm a certified peer support specialist working with people all over the world, providing support and doing referral consultations to connect you to therapists if you are looking for therapy. I know you're coming on here today and you're going to be like, she's going to tell me whether this really is OCD or not. I'm not going to do that. But this is such an important topic. And I get this from clients, week after week after week. This cannot be OCD because it feels too real. So we're going to dig into that today a little bit. I understand it, and I actually struggle with it at times to believe that it's actually OCD. And then I'm not only worrying that the intrusive thoughts aren't OCD, but then I'm worried I really don't have OCD in general. I bet you can relate. Before that though, NoCD is an app, and inside their app they have all different ways to connect to people who have OCD and different resources that can help you. They also do telehealth in many, many, many places around the world. So check them out at treatmyocd.com. Also wanted to let you know that I'm going to be dropping a bunch of videos over the next month. I'm going to do shorter videos talking about the different themes. I haven't done that in a really long time, and I just thought it would be fun to do that. So look for those coming up next month. Okay, so this topic, this is something that hinders people from getting treatment. So let's just get real here. First of all, when people find out they have OCD, a lot of times they'll think, I'm so relieved that I know it's OCD, but then you start Googling and looking for things that prove that it's not OCD, right? So you get some relief, but then all of a sudden you're looking for reasons that you're the only person that really doesn't have OCD. When I went into therapy with Phillipson, I remember thinking to myself and saying to him, I'm going to be the one person that meets almost all of the criteria of OCD, and only to find out at the end of therapy that I really don't have it. And that was a fear of mine, and it actually almost hindered me from actually getting treatment. And one of the ways that this manifests is because it feels so real. So y'all know I do all kinds of videos on the groinal and physical symptoms and how it can manifest, but this is the real deal. This is what keeps people from truly believing that this is a disorder. I don't know if we just have it in our head. Well, I do know this. I'm going to correct myself. We don't see this as a disorder or disordered thinking because it's ego dystonic. What ego dystonic means is that you know what you're experiencing is not aligned with who you are or what you want or your values or all of that stuff. You know it's fucked, right? What I'm thinking is fucked. But so knowing that, you can logically know that, but you can't behaviorally stop. That's what ego dystonic is. And that's why when you have this split with this behavior and logic, and you can't reconcile the two and they're not lining up, you feel nuts in the middle. And then you think it feels too real to actually be a disorder because it doesn't feel disordered, meaning it feels too real. So that's the ego dystonic piece, is why we get really confused in the middle. I have logic operating over here, but then I also have behavioral, and I can't get the two to connect. Well, that's because they're two different ways of communicating. Logic is really different than behavior, okay? And so when you're trying to respond to parts of the brain that only operate on behavior with logic, that's where the argument continues. And by argument, I mean intrusive thoughts and compulsions. And that's where the cycle keeps going. I've talked about this on other videos, but just thought you might need a reminder. So people say, I just don't understand, though, why it feels so real and how can it get physical? Look, I don't know all of the answers, the neurotransmitter chemical answers. I don't know the amygdala in and out enough to answer that probably in the way that it needs to be answered. But I'm going to tell you what I know. And I'm going to tell you what helps me. That's not reassurance based, but it helps me understand the process of what is going on. When we are experiencing OCD, okay, we are in fight and flight, okay? You're triggered, you're having anxiety. I mean, this is just the nature of anxiety and fear. It's fight or flight. You think you're in danger. There is a threat. That part of the brain gets activated because it needs to protect you from threats. The problem is, this is reassurance, whatever. There is no threat. It's a false alarm. But because you're doing compulsions, that is talking behaviorally directly to that part of the brain that thinks, we in trouble. So I need to get her moving. I need to get her to act because I need to keep her safe, right? And so the compulsions fuel the cycle. Well, if there's no threat, there's no solution. So we're trying to find the solution to, am I in the right relationship? Am I a murderer? Am I gay or straight? Am I insert whatever? Am I, blasphemous or going against God? Because these aren't real threats, there is no real solution. So your interaction with that part of the brain continues to fuel the idea that you're in trouble and you need to find a solution. But because there is no solution, that's why we go over and over and over and over in our brain, and we get stuck and we get hopeless. But what also happens is, this is how I see it and what helps me to understand it more. When that part of the brain thinks it can't keep you safe and you're not responding the way that it needs you to, meaning resolving the threat, because there is no threat, it's going to motivate you in different ways to get moving and resolve the threat. That's why your groin moves. That's why your head hurts when you think that you have a brain tumor. That's why you're having a physical response here and there. Now, that may not be the right answer from a psychological perspective, but that makes me understand a little bit more. It doesn't make the physical sensations better or less disturbing, but it helps me to understand. That part of the brain wants to keep me safe, so it needs me to get the fuck moving and find a solution. The problem is there is no solution. And so then the physical sensations get bigger and stronger and scarier. By the time I was in treatment, I had the groinal 24/7. And I'm not even joking, because I was dreaming about it too and would have it in my dreams and wake up to it. So it was just pervasive. And it was terrifying all the time. In my brain, I thought, there's no possible way this is a disorder if I feel this and it feels that real. But now I understand. It's just one more way my brain was trying to motivate me to find a solution to this threat that I keep telling it through compulsions is going on. And the longer I went without effective treatment, the longer I went without stopping the compulsions, meaning stopping that argument with that part of my brain, the worse the physical symptoms got. Here's what I want you to hear. Man, physical symptoms suck. They do. And they are always going to feel bad. And I hate to tell you that, but it's true. I don't mean they're always going to feel bad all the time, every single moment of every day. But when they show up, they're always going to feel scary, and they're always going to feel real, and they're always going to feel like they are the one thing that is showing you don't have OCD. Please hear me when I say everybody thinks that. Every person thinks that. This is what you're saying. You're like, my groinal's different. No, it's not. No, it's not. So if you think about it from a perspective of how your brain is operating with a faulty alarm system, it makes sense. I know it doesn't make it feel better, but OCD is not based on feelings. Our emotions and how we respond and the grief of having this, absolutely, the feelings are relevant, but they're not relevant when it comes to understanding how OCD works and how we communicate with the part of the brain that only operates through behavior. And that communication for us is compulsions, which fuels the cycle, which then fuels the physical feelings, which then further fuels our confusion about how this can't be a disorder if it feels this real. But yes, it can. And it is. And you're not the only one that feels this way. My hope is you will not let these physical sensations get in your way of continuing to seek help and treatment. And I know that you feel like it cannot be OCD because it feels so real. I know you feel like that. I felt like that too. But you have to take the risk and live with the uncertainty and trust the process. My hope for you is that you will believe me today, that you are not the only one and that you're not alone, and that you'll hear me when I say you deserve treatment. You deserve to heal, no matter what OCD makes you feel like, physically, mentally, emotionally, anything. And that's my message. So if you're interested in peer support, referral consultations, head on over to ChrissyHodges.com and you can sign up there on my calendar. And then I'll be back for the next month or so. I'll be doing some videos on actual themes, and I hope that you enjoy that. And I hope you have a great weekend, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Oops.